Well, I'm here again today with Karen Hoffman of the City of Experts. And Karen, we had a great conversation about becoming known locally, nationally, and globally, and the whys related to that. But here I think is the next logical question. How do you make that happen? How does somebody become known on those different levels?
Well, part of it is, I think, looking at some of the areas where you're gifted and where you can make that difference. So, locally, you might talk to local groups to start building your presence there. You might find some of the local newspapers that would let you do a column or interview you and get you known there. Hosting your own events or creating your own group of people can position you to be known. So that would be some of the ways right there.
Part of what you're telling me is that it doesn't happen by accident, that there is an intentionality on some level.
I can say that I think some things happen because people are just following their path, and so I think that it goes smoother for you if you have a plan.
Yes.
But I also think that, and I'm someone that I know that the guy upstairs, God, is watching out. So I think some people do kind of fall into things because they're being guided. But it works so much better when you're hand in hand, I think, with God, and you're saying, okay, here's where I want to go, and here's some of the things that I need to get there. And then you're putting that out there. And then I have this quote that I feel like God gave me, and it's when you know your dreams and when you share your dreams, people will help you with your dreams. So the more specific you can be, I love to, as an example, okay, I've got a passion for working with women. I want to speak in front of groups that have to do with women, or I want to write. And you put that out there, people will say, do you know so-and-so? I can introduce you to so-and-so, or we need a speaker. So, a big part of it too is not keeping your mouth closed. It's sharing what you're up to. It's not being the Lone Ranger.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of different things that I think are important to highlight. One of them is get out there and speak, write, communicate, not be afraid to communicate, not be afraid to open your mouth is one. But I think there's another piece in there that you're talking about, and that is connecting with your passion. And it's one thing to have a plan and line it out, but I think also something you're saying is that when you connect with your genuine passion, then planning and inevitability weave together to create a result.
I believe that is true. So
that's, you talked a little bit on the local level. We talked about connecting with different forms of media, whether it's TV or groups or a column. Are there some other steps that people can take to become known on those different levels?
On local or go to national? Are either one?
Either one.
Well, I think part of it too are what groups or associations are out there. Becoming part of, I was part of an international group, and so being part of actually now I'm part of another international group. It's inevitable if you're part of something that big, you're going to be known by more than just the local community or the national community.
Okay.
So like I joined most recently the International Women Business Owners. So connecting with women in other countries. Before that, I was involved with the International Reciprocal Trade Association. So I have friends in Australia and Moscow and all over the world. I didn't stay with just the local associations or the local groups.
Okay. So it wasn't like you had to just absolutely carve something out of nothing. You said, what groups are there out there that I can associate myself with and become
there's
part
a
of that?
passion alignment too. Like back when I was with the International Reciprocal Trade Association, my passion was all around barter. I loved helping people barter. Now what's interesting is that's not my passion today. It's still helping people, but now I use barter as another tool in the toolbox. But my thing now is about people's dreams and helping them realize them, and being known as one for the speakers and the authors. But so the International Reciprocal Association was one that tied into where I was then, now women business owners. And almost every industry has associations. And when we were talking about national, so I became part of the eWomen Network. They have one of the largest women's conference every year, and in 2007 they gave me an award, the Business Matchmaker of the Year. And so not only did I get known, just from the people I was meeting at the conference, which I go to not every year, but almost every year, but being on a platform where you're nominated for awards, and that's something else too, is how do you get nominated for awards? Now, people in St. Louis kept telling me, you should win that, you would win that, you would win that. And so I said, nominate me. And I was nominated, they said, by a record number of people. But a lot of times I think people go, I can't do, even though they would qualify. Now I actually and this is something else about getting known. Who could you nominate? Who could, you see these awards? I have nominated so many people for awards that I knew that they would, and many times they won them.
Well, that's tremendous.
And so what happens to relationships when you nominate someone for, let's say, the Business Journal? I know that there's been at least 5 people I've nominated that have received awards. Well, one of the women actually sent me a beautiful bouquet just for nominating her. That was a kind of a side thing. But she so deserved the award. But it helped in actually me being known too by more people, because there was a Hispanic award once that I was making recommendations for, and I ended up at one of our biggest law firms' head table. All I was doing was really from the heart. It wasn't planned I'm going to be sitting at Armstrong Teasdale's table next to the senior partners, but those kind of things happen when when you're intentionally trying to help others too.
So there's kind of a gravity effect when you're out there from the heart, working, doing, helping others. Then there are opportunities to
all the time.
Tell me more about the global level. Are you ready to talk about that part yet?
Sure. Well, to me, national and global just have a lot of similarities. It's about not limiting yourself to your local and developing relationships with people who are on a bigger platform. And when I say bigger, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing a lot of international things, but they are, I have friends in Moscow and friends in Australia. Keeping in touch with them and letting them know what you're up to and absolutely what are they up to, cross-promoting them. I think we'll be talking on another time about making connections.
That's right.
But
that's right.
All of this is about really connecting with people to be known. You connect with people who need speakers. You connect with people who are in the media that need stories. You connect. And if you don't limit it to, it's all about me, but how do you help them? It may not be about you. Like when I was approaching Tim McGuire, it was not about Karen Hoffman. It was about, I know some people that would make good subject matter stories for you. And having owned my own magazines, it's just part of my DNA to see stories. So I promote stories. And, whether it's local, national, or global, it's, I think, developing relationships and letting them know what you're up to and what are they up to that you can help them with.
Karen, that is tremendous. We've talked about a lot of different points about how to become known, and some of it is directly intentional, but there's a lot of it that what you're saying is not like pre-planned, manipulating. There is some serendipity involved.
I wasn't smart enough to think of it that way. I lead with my heart a lot, so it's very natural to say, how can I serve? And I think that it really does come back to people. There's so many people that I've met through the years that are givers as well, and they gravitate toward helping each other.
Well, Karen, thank you for sharing with us today. That's really valuable.
Thank you for having me.